Hi, I'm Russ Whitney, and you received an email recently from a good friend of mine about this book, Inner Voice, my newest book, just released by Hay House Worldwide. And many of my friends, business associates, and peers have also mailed to their most important friends and customers on their lists. And today I'm going to give you a little bit of a training session. If you're in business or want to start a business, if you're struggling right now, if you're not happy with where you are financially or personally or spiritually, I think you're going to find this very enlightening. And I'm going to deliver to you, whether you bought the book or not, maybe over the next 5, 6, or 7 of these training videos, and I'm going to deliver these to you over the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to spend some time really talking to you about what's going on in this economy, what are the right things to do right now, what's been done in the past that's worked, what's working for others right now, personally, professionally, and in business. So I really think you should stay tuned. Now, if you're not familiar with my work, again, my name is Russ Whitney, and years ago, let's go back 30 years ago, I did not graduate high school. I worked in a slaughterhouse in upstate New York, making $6 an hour. I was married, had my first baby by the time I was 21, so I wasn't a free-willing bachelor, and obviously broke. And I got this voice in my head. Now, I wouldn't have called it inner voice back then because I didn't even have that knowledge. But there was a voice as I look back in hindsight. And this voice was telling me that I could do something better with my life. And I'm going to bet, if you're watching this, because you're a friend of mine, or numbers of friends of mine who are opportunity seekers. These are people who want to be in business. They're not happy necessarily financially. They're wondering whether the kids is going to go to the college that they want them to go to. Is retirement going to be safe? And let me just read you something right now that came to me from, and I'm getting these from media all over the country and in some cases all over the world. I want to read you a little letter just to open your eyes real quick. This came probably 3 days ago. It was, "Dear Russ, we have not met, but I've recently become familiar with your work. I'm the president of a 30-year-old radio syndication firm in Chicago, and through your website, Inner Voice, I've come to realize that your expertise and perspective combine to bring a unique voice into the world of life success. I'm very impressed." Okay, big deal. "I think you'll be impressed by the next 7 videos. If you've bought the book, right now this book is going viral. I mean, it's such a departure from my other work, and I'm going to explain that to you in this video and continue to go on, not just to explain Inner Voice, but strategies that you can use today that fit you, that fit your experiences, your worldly experiences, your educational experiences. What can you do to get things better today?" And there's probably 40 million or 50 million people just in this country asking that question every day. So listen to these statistics in a moment. This president of a media company says, "My story attached, as long as it may be, underscores the fact that I've had to overcome an ever larger series of obstacles over the course of my life." Does that sound familiar? Obstacles and struggles. "I understand how fear can be turned into motivation and power." That's what he says. But listen to this. "It's not something that most people can relate to." And maybe you're one of those. "Much less put to use. In this time, we're living through such horrible economic conditions where, more out of necessity than by choice, people are becoming entrepreneurs." Have you ever thought about that? Becoming an entrepreneur, owning your own business? I mean, there's more opportunity with the internet today to do that. Real estate is coming back. Markets are picking up. And I think right now that we're in a right place, exact right place, at the right time to hit a major financial home run if we get the right knowledge. And I'm going to do my best to deliver that. Whether you've got the book or not, I think you'll get more out of these next 7 training sessions. And if they go well and I get good response from you, then I'll continue these on. I always get to spill my own medicine on myself when I do these types of sessions. So listen to this. People are becoming entrepreneurs in record numbers, and the people that are returning to the workplace, 43% are going back into job force in careers that are paying them far less than when they were laid off in the first place. That's absurd. I mean, the word obstacles in many cases is not an appropriate description. Obstacles are not even an appropriate description for what people are facing. That troubles me, and that's why I'm here delivering this video to you. One may only look at the headlines to understand that more than 20 million people are unemployed, 15 million people underemployed. 46 million people are on food stamps. And 1 in 4 children, listen to this, 1 in 4 children are living in a household whose family income falls below the poverty line. That's incredible. Now, here's what he says to me, and this is, I don't want to be bragging here, but we're talking with 3 other potential people about hosting a talk radio program for us on these topics. You appear to have a very interesting niche and a broad bandwidth. Well, just an aside, over 6 million people in the last 25 years have gone through one of my training programs in 7 countries, whether that's real estate, business, asset protection, starting your own business, learning how to become an entrepreneur, doing that with little or no money or a lot of money. You know, there's different strategies for each, and that's why I want you to hang with these videos, because I think I can really open your eyes. Just think about 6 million people have gone through those training programs. That's a big boost, and this is what I've done and devoted my life to. And I'm going to tell you that although Inner Voice is not a book about money, it's about making money. It's everything about making money. Although it's not a religious book, it doesn't conflict with religion, but it certainly shows us the foundation that we need to build to be able to put any type of money-making opportunity into place if that's what we want to do. All right, now, listen to this. Our business model is to attempt to build brands that can generate revenue across multiple media platforms. It's a Chinese menu full of things that we can discuss, from short-form radio, subscription, blogs, e-zines, television. Our long-form production partner is X. We are speaking with other candidates about potentially hosting a show for us like this, but I'd like to talk to you, telling me about this opportunity. Please take a look at both attachments. One talks about our business model, the other is a story from Inside Radio that talks about this fella and his company. Our next program changes in 4 weeks. We identified several other people in this space that we are reaching out to as well. If you're interested, I need to hear from you as early as possible. And at that time, I'll provide you all the references. We would prefer to have you do this service. So I wanted to give you that more for the statistics than to brag on Russ Whitney. But why should you listen to me? Let me give you a quick bio, okay? As I told you, I did not graduate high school, grew up in an abusive family. At age 20, I got this voice in my head that told me I could do something better with my life. Well, what am I going to do? I mean, I grew up in a blue-collar family, so it wasn't like I ever had any training on how to start a business or even the idea that I could be in business. My message was, go to work, you get a job, go to work, pay your bills on time, you know, don't try anything too risky, and everything will be okay. And you know what? Many of us get that message, and it's not okay. We're not living our dreams. You know, most of us are not living our dreams, and many of us. We're not driving the car we want to drive. We're worried about kids' college educations. We're worried about retirement. That's a big thing right now. The largest segment of our population right now is baby boomers. And there's a question on whether Social Security is going to be around, you know. The health care that's going on in the country, all very scary. Well, listen here. I got this voice that said I could do something better with my life. Have you ever had that in your head? I could do something better. I could do what? Well, I started to do what I bet a lot of you are doing, and may even confuse with what's happening right now. I started sending away for all the get-rich-quick ads that you see that back in magazines back then. Today they're all over the internet. When I didn't have an internet back then, I was 20, and none of them worked. I mean, I sent for mail order millions, how to stuff envelopes, make $300,000 a year for the rest of your life without getting out of bed. I almost wish that would have worked. I sent for Janet King, Dory Clean, the franchise, you know, did it all. Network marketing, tried that. What's that? One I tried to Excel, none of them worked. One day I sent off for this book on real estate investing. And this is not necessarily a real estate investing pitch, and I'm not trying to sell you, although I think I have the best real estate investment course in the world. And it's helped lots of people get wealthy. That's not what we're here to talk about. I got this book on real estate, $10 book, no magical answers. Now, $10 book, okay, today is a $20 book. That book changed my life. This book can change your life. And there were no magical answers, but it had a concept, and the concept was very simple. Go to an area of town, look for properties that are run down, beat up shape, paint them, jazz them, fix them up, and you can force the value of these properties through improvements. I'd never heard anything like that, but it made sense to me. You know, it was like, you know, a car dealer who buys a used car, fixes it up, and sells it for more money. Well, if you did that with real estate, holy cow, there's a lot more, you know, there's a lot more of juice in that, you know what I mean? The dollars are bigger. But then it also gave me a mathematical formula. Now remember, I'm 20 years old, didn't graduate high school, no training in business, working in a, you know, labor union job. And this formula was simply add up the rents. You know, you could figure out whether a property makes money or not before you ever buy it. I thought, wow, really? So add up the rents, deduct the expenses. If there's money left over, that's positive cash flow. Now, I thought, holy cow, I mean, I could do that. And I started to read any book I could get my hands on. Within 3 weeks, I bought this rundown, beat-up old, you know, property in a low-income area, and I made $11,000. Now, that may not sound like a lot of money, but back then, $11,000, that was a year's pay for me. I was making $6, $6.50 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's $240 over a month. That's what, $1,100, $1,200. So 11,000 bucks a year's pay. I mean, I was in heaven, thought I hit the lottery. And I went on over the next 2 years and bought, again, rundown, beat-up properties that most people might not buy, painted them, fixed them. Each of them had maybe $150 or $200 a month in positive cash flow. So not huge, but I now was bringing in $1,500 a month. That gave me financial independence 2 years later, because I was only making, what, $1,200 a month in a slaughterhouse. So what I didn't do is I didn't go, you know, go buy a new car or raise my credit card bills or buy jewelry. Took all that money and I used it to pay my mortgage payment, car payment, put food on the table, had a little luxury money left over without having to go to the full-time job. Financially independent, 23 years old, and it was $1,500 a month. So when you hear about things about making money and getting wealthy, and people look at my story as an overnight success, really mine was more a lesson in not doing it so good. 2 years. I mean, I've trained people who've done it much shorter time. I went on 4 years more, and at age 27, I hit a net worth of $1 million. In all honesty, was it cash money and was I wrote? No, there was a lot of equity in that, some cash, but this gave me confidence. It gave me, you know, my self-esteem back. And at 27, I wrote my first book, and that's, gosh, that's 1984. I wrote my first book and sent it off to all these publishers and turn down. So over the next 7 videos that we send you, and again, I may do more if you want to hang with me, and you're getting them for free. You know, normally I get $10,000 an hour for this kind of stuff, but we're gonna create a friendship, you and me, and you're gonna get some really, really valuable information. I promise you that. And bringing it current, and the current piece would be today. The current piece would be. How does one find their true purpose and then build a passion for it? You know, there's this cliche that runs about, find something you're passionate about, and by gosh, do that and you'll make money. Well, you know, if it was that easy, we'd all be doing that. But it doesn't happen that way. Purpose comes first. And in the Message and Inner Voice, we're gonna talk about that, but I'm also gonna share with you lots of money-making ideas and strategies. And I think by the time we're done with this process, I think you're going to have a good idea that life can get a lot better a lot quicker. Now, one of the things I want to mention, if you have Inner Voice already, if you go to the space at the bottom of this page, or the link at the bottom of this page, you click on that. What I'm going to do just for you hanging with these, you know, videos, and I hope you like them, and I hope they help you. If you click on this link, I'm going to offer you a free it's a value of over $200, but a free coaching, 45-minute coaching with one of our Inner Voice certified coaches. And chances are, because you're watching this video, you might get me on that. I'm right now taking all the calls because with the response we've had to this book, I mean, we're getting, actually the first run where we did just one radio interview had over 400 hits to our website. I want to say 60 people to the time driver that we have there, and it shut down. That's the other thing. When you call in for your free coaching, you'll look at a calendar and you'll see the available dates that the coach is available, and you don't even have to talk to anybody. Just put that in, schedule your appointment. Free coaching valued at $200. My suggestion would be, and I don't mean to feel like I'm pitching this book, because believe me, I'm not making $1 jillion here on a $20 book, but this book could change your life. I think you'll get a lot more out of the coaching if you have dug into the book. So, you know, it's up to you. Anyway, let's go back. So 27, I write a book, and part of the deal with the publisher was that they'd publish the book, but I had to commit to go speak. They did seminars all over the country. I had never spoke to a group of people before. I was 27 years old, a kid that didn't even graduate high school, and here they want me to speak in front of 1,000 or 2,000 people. I'm thinking, holy cow! You know, all I did was buy some rundown, beat-up property, learned how to pull the money out tax-free, and some other strategies, obviously, and. Everybody's got to know that. I mean, I had no worldliness. I had never really traveled around the country. I'm thinking, you know, 80%, 90% of these people are probably college educated. What am I going to be able to teach them? I figure, you know, by the end of the seminar, they'd be throwing tomatoes at me. But I got up there and I did this talk, and all I did was show them each property, each strategy, and what I did. And I got to tell you something. I mean, I was mobbed, and that attention kind of helped more build my self-esteem, my self-confidence. So I think if you get with the Inner Voice program, watch these videos, you're going to see this happens over time. But we can make some real strides from day one, just by changing our thinking. So I think it's a process, and the process starts with, what is life really about? How does it work? That's what this book is about. And I'm going to get to this in further trainings. You know, we have at least 7. I'm committed. I'm going to give you 7 of these free trainings right here. And we're going to cover lots of ground. And what I'd like you to do is, once we start to get into some of the meat, I'd really like you to send me some email feedback. In other words, what questions do you have? What fears and doubts do you have that are holding you back? Where are your skepticisms? Or what about questions on real business, where you've tried something that didn't work? I believe we can find you a way under, over, around. Maybe you're doing the wrong thing. Maybe real estate's not for you. Maybe network marketing is not for you. Maybe internet marketing is not for you. You know, maybe it's a brick and mortar business. Maybe it's another type of entrepreneurial business. I can tell you this. Here's a good example for you. Let's see if I can do this, and I hope you can see it. I'm going to hold this up. Can you see that, Bill? Bill's the cameraman, by the way. Can you see that box? All right, how many boxes do you see there? All right, most people will say 9. Some will say 10. However, this right here is a box. 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 This here is a box. That there is a box. Actually, when we're all done, what you're going to find is there's 27 boxes there. Now, is that magic? No, there's no magic to that. What I did is simply raise your perception level. In other words, you'll never look at a diagram like that again and see 9 boxes. Now you see 27. That's what I hope to accomplish with you over these next so many videos that we do in this training. And I think you're going to find some amazing eye-openers that are going to open up a whole new world to you. I mean, they surely did for me. So I then got into a spot where I was speaking at these conventions, and I didn't really like the customer service, so to speak. I didn't like the way they were handling the people. I didn't think they were giving enough care or enough attention. It seemed to be all about selling something. And so I went to the promoter and I talked to him about it, and they just blew me off. And I thought, you know what? I know that there's a better way to do this. And so I started my own financial training business, teaching the strategies, not just in real estate, but business strategies, marketing strategies particularly. And that's what I'm known for. I mean, if you talk to, you know, the influencer or the person who sent you the email on this book telling you to buy, that's because they already bought the book and they were so crazed about it, they asked me if I would do exactly this. Would I talk to their customers or members, those who bought or didn't buy the book? And I thought, yeah, why not? Why not do that? Value-centric is really, you know, where business is today. You know, all the new internet business from the Amazons, free shippings, and all the bennies that we get that save us money, that should be where businesses are going. Provide more value, you know, than that customer ever pays for, and continue to provide more value than a customer ever pays for. And that's what you're going to get in here. So anyway, I started this training company, and I had ups and downs, you know what I mean? I was learning marketing. I didn't really know about how do you do infomercials, how do you do direct mail, how do I get email leads on the internet. You're going to learn all of that. And then I finally hit the right model, and this would be in 1995. I started a company called Whitney Education Group. And we started out with about 12 employees, and I started out with this model to give advanced trainings. In other words, I developed our trainings after conventional education, 1 to 3 year continuity programs. Instead of just selling some a book or something like that, what if we would actually bring them in, take them out in the field, take them by the hand, which now we can do digitally, virtually. So you don't have to fly somewhere or spend all kinds of money. We can do it right in this setting. And by the way, this setting, if you look behind or you're in my office. This is the office where I work. On the next video, what I'll do is I'll actually pan around and I'll show you all of these books were the first how to make money books I ever bought when I knew nothing about it. These were my Bibles. And I'm going to tell you something. If it can happen for me, it can happen for anybody, because I was probably, voted the least likely to succeed. Now, I've got common sense, you know what I mean, but I just didn't have a lot of book sense. And I think if we recognize and understand the opportunities, we've got somebody to take us by the hand and walk us through it. If someone's willing to make a commitment and wants to do it, especially those of you that I'm talking to, you're an opportunity seeker. You're somebody who's already been out there looking, who's made mistakes, who's bought, many how to make money products that maybe haven't worked for you. Let me just tell you what I learned. A lot of these didn't work for me. But here's what I did learn. It's part of the education. In other words, I knew that I couldn't find out what I wanted to do until I knew what I didn't want to do. And that was Mail Order Millions wasn't for me. And you know what? You could have gave me the best Mail Order Millions course in the world. Lots of people made big money in mail order. Many are making money on the internet. At that point, my worldly experience, my social experience, my educational background, and my time learning this new type, it just wasn't there yet. So you could have gave me the best course in the world, and I probably wouldn't have worked for me. Not that it doesn't work, but it didn't work for me. It was part of my connecting the dots backwards to get the experience now to qualify to make the big bucks. And I'm going to show you that process. I mean, it's a process. As I said, I think you'll see gains immediately, particularly because this is what most people are missing in this message and inner voice. And I'm going to move to that in a moment. But before I move to that message, let me finish the bio. And I don't mean this to brag, just is what it is. So we had 12 employees. The first year when I created this new advanced training program, it worked. I mean, it was happening for people. And so every training I've done, including this one, is designed exactly as that one was. First year, we had 5.5 million in sales of training programs. We then went to 13 million. The next year, 26 million, 60 million, 90 million. I then bought or created up at that point the Rich Dad Education business, amongst other money-making brands that I learned how to do and were able to teach others. By 2000, 2001 or 2, we were 120 million, 150 million, then 190 million. By 2006, that company was doing $250 million a year in sales. Not a value of a company or a conglomerate of things. It was 250 million. Over 60,000 people a month. 60,000 people a month going through our live training seminars in every state in the Union and 7 other countries. Became one of the most wildly successful companies, not only for us, but for our students. We created probably more financial independence in students, more millionaires than any other company in history. And I don't mean that to brag, I had great people around me to help me build that. I built it almost 2,000 employees. So that message means I know how to do it by myself, paying a rundown, beat-up property in the ghetto, to learning the marketing by losing money and making mistakes and getting it beaten, by figuring out what I didn't want to do, by figuring out who are the real truth tellers in the money-making and education business and who are the scammers. And I think you'll get a real eye-opener with that here. And I don't mean to talk anybody down. I'm not going to do that. I've always built my businesses and made my relationship by building our business up and our customer base up. You know, in my business, we were doing $250 million a year in sales. We had less than a 0.5% refund ratio. That is incredible, you know, in any business, let alone in the, you know, information business. So let's move on to this. In about 2006, things started to tumble for me. The real estate market was crashing. I was burnt out in my business. I had been working hard and long for years. My marriage of 29 years, I was married for 29 years, 3 beautiful, beautiful children, started to crumble. And I kind of hit a rock bottom. I lost 80% of my net worth. And listen, that's part of the deal. You know, sometimes it is up and down. You know, in baseball, one of the best batting averages is what? 300. That means 3 hits out of 10. Well, that means you lose 7 times. But batting 300 in professional baseball gets you a $5 million contract. And so failure was designed to help create and build our spiritual muscles. It was designed to build our self-confidence, our self-esteem, to recognize that not everything works. Some of those are educational messages that we need to have along the way in order to hit that home run. And I think you're going to see how we do that. Now, we're getting long on this video, but I do want you, I should have told you this at the beginning, but you can pause this video, you can stop this video, you can come back to this video if you want. I just dislike those videos where you go and you're stuck there unless you see the whole message. Usually, I just delete those. I don't know about you. So I want you to have the option to stay, go, you know, go over it again. But here's Inner Voice. Inner Voice, when I hit my rock bottom, I walked away from all my businesses on March 8th of 2008. That's 5 years ago, almost 6. And I had this question, 2 questions. I had Citation 7 jet, a Citation 2, that's a $7 million jet, the 7, free and clear. Multi-million-dollar homes, Rolls Royce, Ferrari, any toy you could imagine. And you know, my life is an open book. All of the numbers that I gave you in our company was a publicly traded company, so those numbers are public record. You know what I mean? So you can validate those if you want, or verify them. But I had 2 questions. What is the purpose of life? What are we here for? I felt like I was a hamster on a hamster wheel, and I don't care, you know, if you're making $50,000 a year or $10 million a year. I was on a hamster wheel, running business, get a car, get a bigger car, get a boat, have some debt, have some struggles along the way. Every once in a while, have a nice family or vacation day. We say, "Oh, life is good." Monday, back on the hamster wheel. 75 years later, we die. I started thinking to myself, if there is a God, you know, and there's a power to this universe, and that's all there is to this life, it would have to be a very mean God. And I went on a mission, traveled to 20 countries. I went to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Israel, Haiti, Colombia, Spain, all through Europe. And because of the size of the business, and I have three you know, best-selling books on finance, I was able to meet with some of the top spiritual, business, thought, and religious leaders worldwide. And my question was, what's the purpose of life? I wanted to see who was right. Christians right, or the Jewish people right, or the Hindus right, the Muslims right, you know, is it Oprah Winfrey? Who's right? Or are they all saying the same thing in different times, languages, and cultures? And I never set out to write this book on this journey. I set out to save my own life because my life was crazy out of balance. And I just lost 80% of my net worth. And listen, that's all relative, you know what I mean? You could be struggling more or less. The point is, if you've ever had struggle, and you want to climb out of that struggle and hit that plateau again, this is going to be the solution. So when we get into the next video, okay, which I'm going to send you in the next several days, we're going to start on Inner Voice. What is this all about? Because if you've ever tried a money-making course, if you've ever tried to start a business, if you're unhappy with your job, this is the glue that's missing, because all they teach you those is strategy, what I found with the 6 million people that I've talked to, many of them that have come through my training programs, has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is they don't have a plan on how to figure out their purpose and passion. it's the messages we've received through life, human training from mom, dad, brother, sister, preacher, teacher, that go to work, get a job, don't try anything too risky, this can't work and that can't work, and all those, you know, how to make money schemes are not true. And we have such limiting beliefs that it's absurd. So I'm not going to give you a lot of rah-rah, you know, motivation. When we get to this in the next video, we're going to start on the real McCoy, on the things that are going to help you climb out of that rut. Go to that plateau, give you hope, have a confidence that your kids are going to go to that right college. You can drive that second car and the one you want, not the one you have to buy. So I think it's time, and I think the economy's right. Again, I think we're right place, right time, right now to hit a major home run. I think we're right on that crest of that wave, just like a surfer. You know, he hits that wave, carries him home. See, most people who hit it big, it's a lot about timing too. Wealthy people, they don't just get in the right place at the right time. What they do is they get specific knowledge for the time, and they position themselves to be in the right place at the right time to hit that home run. And that's what we're going to do over these next 7 videos. My suggestion is you'll get more out of them if you go to the link below, order the book. And if you do order the book, at the end of this rainbow, you know, I'm going to give you a free value of over $200. That's what we charge for an inner voice certified coach. And I think that we can sift through, find out what your problem is, what your block is, if you're feeling blocked, what that block is, and get you past that. I promise you we can do that. So for now, this is Russ Whitney signing off. Best and blessings.